What is it like working with Zach King?
When I was on the Lunchables commercial, I was standing in for his son who was going to be like who was going to be the actor, right? And then there was like this dinosaur thing, and then he told me like to roar, and I was like, bro, I don't know how to roar. He was like, never knew that there was such a big network of pirates in California. Bro, I don't even want to talk about it, guys. I literally like crashed out. I burnt out so bad. Literally the day before the festival, I was sitting there, I was painting, spray painting and aging like 50 of those. So I literally cannot escape trash and rubble and grass. We literally picked up like 100 cardboard boxes. So this like homeless man came up to me and he literally brought me this whole tray of sushi. And he was like, you can eat that. Because I don't want to live on this planet. I want to make stuff that doesn't belong here. I emailed the dean of Roski.
Oh my god.
And I asked her to meet. And
Did you?
I did.
Daisy, welcome to the show.
Hi.
So glad to have you on.
Yeah, me too.
Super excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
Daisy, how would you describe what it is you do?
Well, I do like a little bit of everything. I do modeling, I do fine arts, which includes like painting, sculpting, sketching, drawing, whatever. And also I do production design for film. I used to make films, like I wanted to direct, but then right now I've discovered my passion for production design. So I design a lot of stages, I build a lot of stuff. I'm like Bob the Builder, you know what I mean? Painting and all that stuff. Just, I feel like it's all interconnected. Oh, and I do content creator, and I do content creation on the side, just to document my life and, I don't know, share my art.
Yeah, totally. I love how you're combining those two, you know, because a lot of times like art's a very traditional thing where you just like make stuff, but then combining it with like the new like TikTok, Instagram, it's like it would like get more reach and
that's
more audience.
I think that social media is a great way to like help build your like what's it called, your branding for your own like art and like film and whatever you do. More people know about you in the future, they'll like buy your art or like support your film, you know? So win-win situation.
Yeah. Well, more on that later in the episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We'll be talking about your production design
Okay.
career. You know, you made production design and art stuff for Zach King.
Yes. So I did 4 projects with them. I was an art assistant director and a stylist for one of them. One of them was with Hikaru. So 2 of them were with Hikaru. And then the other one was with BJ's for like their BJ's Pizookie commercial.
Hikaru as in the chess player?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yes, the Grandmaster chess player.
Yeah,
I didn't know who he was until like I was there. I was like, I don't know chess, but he's cool. Very down to earth people. And then last one was for Lunchables commercial. Yes.
That's sick.
Yeah.
What is it like working with Zach King?
He is honestly like one of the most down to earth person ever. Like you do not feel like you're working with him. He feels more like a friend, if you know what I mean. Like one time when I was on the Lunchables commercial, I was standing in for his son who was going to be like who was going to be the actor, right? And then there was like this dinosaur thing, and then he told me like to roar, and I was like, bro, I don't know how to roar. He was like, your roar is so weak. I was like, he's just honestly like a very friendly person. Yeah.
That's sick. How do you think someone becomes like that? Like, what are the traits to be someone like that?
Okay, honestly, I feel like it definitely takes a lot of growth. Like, I'm sure as someone with like hundreds of millions of followers on social media, in the beginning, there was probably like a time where they were like more like, oh, I have following. But then it just takes time to like humble yourself. And then I feel like it's because he's been like out there for so long that he's already learned how to carry himself very well. So I think that's probably one of the reasons. And because he's probably just a good person in general.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we all like to work with people like that.
Yeah. Do you think his work has influenced your production design work at all? Like, does that feed into your style, or do you think it's more of a collaborative effort?
Definitely. I think it has, because his stuff is a little bit more like mundane, but also a little extraordinary. Like one of the production designers that I help with on the set, she made like this giant frisbee out of like styrofoam, and I just, cause like they threw it at the camera, right? And then it had to like look like it was hitting Zach. So it was like, I was just like, wow, this is kind of cool. Like I want to be making stuff like this too. So I get inspired by working with the people that's on the set that's there, you know. So.
Yeah, and you've been watching him since you were a kid.
Yeah.
I started watching him when I was a kid, so he's been doing this for a while. And it's, how does it feel to like work for someone that you were inspired by when you were younger?
Okay, so This is a great question because I feel like a lot of the stuff that I've like thought of or dreamed of when I was younger becoming to reality is like unreal to me. Like for example, working with like music artists that I've watched or like meeting people in real life, like influencers that I used to look up to. I'm like, wow, like I've really I've really grown as a person to the point that I could be in a space where I could be meeting these people. So I feel like I'm very proud of myself and very honored that I'm able to be in the same room with them. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And how did you come across like working with Zach King? Like, how did you get on there?
Okay, so I was a part of Film Ed Academy for my senior year, only 1 year. And in that summer, the previous year, I won Best Editing for one of my films in the festival. So the founder, Dave Junker, very popular name around here, Film Ed. I know you see this. But Dave Junker, he like asked me to help become the editing instructor at the summer camps. So we always, it's like an intensive summer camp program in the summer where it's like 2 weeks and you do like all the film production stuff. You learn editing, how to shoot movies, how to write a script, how to tell a story. So that was when the summer that I worked there, he invited one of our alumni, her name is Ashley, and she brought Zach to do like this lecture at the film camp where he was just kind of like teaching and like telling kids about like his filmmaking and production. So it was just like a guest speaker. And then because they wanted to film at the school and I was kind of like just like assisting everything. So I like literally helped them secure the school gym and like all the locations. So I was kind of doing little producing, like helping work. She liked my work ethic, so she brought me onto the set. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And can you speak more on like what Film Ed is for all the people that don't know?
Okay, so Film Ed is a high school film program. You have to audition to be in this program. It's like very exclusive. Earliest you start sophomore year, so you can be in this program for like 1 to 4 years, and it literally teaches you. It's like this broad network of filmmakers in Irvine Unified School District where every school comes together for a summer camp in the summer. So there's like 3 sessions, each of them are like 2 weeks each, and then you just learn how to do film production as a high schooler. And I think that's what was able to bring me ahead of like my peers in my age group in terms of that, because I was able to get this connection with this filmmaking stuff. All the students there are in their respective high school news broadcast program. So it's like Portola News Network, Northwood NTV, and then like Irvine ITV, and then Hawk Talk and all that stuff. So like there's always like super talented people in each of them, and you really learn how to become a leader because you're like a producer for like a segment at a school, like broadcast.
Right.
And you film those segments, you direct them, you write everything, you learn how to like film spot features and stuff. Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's basically film school.
I know
Yeah.
so many great like talented
so many,
filmmakers
yeah.
from that program at USC.
Yeah.
So they're definitely doing something right,
They're
you know,
definitely doing-
bringing up the
yeah.
next generation of you guys.
Do you still collaborate with the people that you met
No,
in the
yeah.
program?
Oh my god. Like Cece, I met her in the program. Alex as well. And then like who else? Well, Ryan is also from that program. He was actually my instructor the year before.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Does he know you?
Well, yeah. Well, he probably didn't know me back then, but then
Uh-huh.
we knew each other after the film festival that I was nominated in.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Speaking of that film festival though, I know you directed
Yes.
one of those festivals.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Okay, so the Orange County Film Festival was like the biggest film festival in Orange County. Like we're like a small town group of people, right? So everybody wanted to submit their films. Everybody wanted to be nominated and win. So I won Filmmaker of the year of my senior year, which is like the biggest award. And so Dave Junker, he invited me to direct the next film festival. He was like, oh, I have this crazy idea. We're gonna do a theme with pirates. So every year there's a different theme. Sometimes there's no theme depending on the budget.
Yeah.
But he was like, are you down to do pirates? I was like, yes, because I thought that was like super unique and I was able to have some artistic freedom with it.
Yeah.
So that was like a 9-month process. We started in July where he was telling me, oh, we need to bring I want this giant ship on the stage and I want water in the front. So we ended up hitting like this like pirate show in like Anaheim and just kind of watching like the pirate show with the stunts and stuff like that,
Yeah.
just to kind of plan out how we wanted the festival to be. And then we were just kind of like fundraising and producing for a while, like hitting up different pirate like organizations. They're like a gang. Like literally, it's like motorcycle tattoo gang
Oh my
like
God,
up in here. Like especially in San Diego, I never knew that there was such a big network of pirates in California. Yeah.
What?
No, there
I didn't
is.
know that.
No. It's like very like low key, but like there's a lot of
Okay.
people that are really into that stuff. Like
Oh, like when you say pirates, you're talking about like fans of pirates, not like people who rob ships.
no, like pirate fan. But actually,
Oh, okay.
well, they kind of are kind of like that, like a motorcycle gang. Imagine that, and they're
Yeah.
like super like hippie. So
okay.
that's kind of the vibe.
Unless, I mean, as long as they're not like hurting people.
No. But
Okay.
they're just really cool. I just think they're really cool.
Yes,
like they
of
have their own
course.
aesthetic and stuff. So and then in February, we shot the nomination video. So the nomination video is a video where it's like a story and it reveals the theme. So none of the students know that it's a pirate themed festival until they see the nomination video. So that video is like usually like 20 to 40 minutes long because there's a prop that shows each of the names of the nominees through like it's like a storytelling way of like revealing the nominees.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Like instead
Yeah.
of like for example like All American High School where they're just like, oh, nominated, the nominees for this are da 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 da. This is more like they're gonna go through a story
Yeah.
and then they show the prop. Like for example, this year's I don't even want to talk about it, guys. I literally like crashed out. I burnt out so bad because 2 weeks before we were supposed to shoot, we actually secured a location at the Maritime Museum of San Diego on a real pirate ship. It was like antique or whatever. It was super difficult and expensive, but 2 weeks before that, I was in my art studio making like around 159 props by hand. Because there's like 23 categories for the nominations, and then each of them has like around 2 to 10. Most of them are like 10 or more. So like every single name had to be on a prop. And so I was in charge of making every single one of them. So I made gold bars out of clay because he wanted gold bars.
Yeah.
For the category of cinematography, I made 10 paintings that was each of the shot of like from the film. So I literally painted them by hand and put them in like an antique frame.
That's so
There was
sick.
like so many of those things, and I also made like burlap bags. I wrote names in rope and freaking twine. Like there's just like so many like silly little things that I did. And then I went scouting at like all the prop houses in LA for pirate stuff. I went to History for Hire, Alley Cats, Lenny Marvin, and Green Set. So those are like some really big and really good production design warehouses. If you ever want to hit those up, they're super cool. Like I'm literally in heaven when I'm there. Yeah. And we also rented like a lot of props to bring down to San Diego so that we could put like maybe like barrels onto the ship. We had like knives and stuff and guns and stuff. It was super sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Was that the biggest project you've worked on at that point?
Definitely.
And still today?
Yes, I think so. That was like I was sick within those 2 week period as well. So I was in the studio like 10 hours a day just working on those props. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get through this. And I got like really bad fever. So I was literally eating Dayquil when we were at the ship. And we shot for 2 days. This was in February of 2024. Yeah. And then after that nomination video, there was another whole thing where they built a ship. I designed this ship that would go onto the stage of the festival. We got like 3 20 feet tall palm trees from like the warehouses and like the prop houses in LA. And it was the loading day, you would not believe it, bro. It was like me and this like other person.
Yeah.
So I was like I was helping loading like all the stuff into like the freaking truck. We had this like giant truck and I was just like, I'm like 95 pounds. The treasure chest is like probably 30 pounds. Yes, we had a dolly, but like most of the stuff is like probably heavier than me. You see my arms, I got no gains. But I got through it. It's okay. I'm a furniture mover for life, I guess.
Yeah.
There was like a week period where we were just like loading everything on stage, and like there was people from Film Ed building a freaking like a pier, like a mini pier on like the side of the stage.
Oh, you had to build that
That's
too?
so
Yes,
sick.
by wood. Like someone built that. I was like, dude, you are a blessing. And we also had like this. So you know how like in theater, right? There's like those pits where the music is playing. So we dropped those down like a few inches, and we put a tarp in it, and we filled it with water. And there was a plank
Shoot, okay.
across the water. So when the nominees, they go up to receive their award, they have to walk over the water onto the
God.
stage.
That's
And there was like
sick.
there was stunts like pirates shooting guns and stuff. It was super cool. And I had to and then we designed designed this like pyramidal thing, and it was supposed to be like their prize when they received their award, right?
Yeah.
So nobody painted those. They just printed it in like they 3D printed it in like gold, but it was ugly. So like literally the day before the festival, I was sitting there, I was spray painting and aging like 50 of those.
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah.
you know, I just had to be doing a lot of stuff at the same time. It was just, yeah.
That's got to be like the coolest award ceremony thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Oscars should invite you to do something.
Oh,
I feel like-
yes, please.
I feel like this sounds so much cooler than whatever they do at.
No, I would
The Academy Awards.
They don't even do that at Sundance. You know?
That would
Yeah,
be-
they don't. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's why film ed is like, and the reason why this festival is so special is because all the alumni come to work on it. In the nomination video, like some of the actors in there, it's like sprinkling like cameos of like, I was in the nomination video painting and stuff like that, just sprinkling cameos of past award winners and like
Right.
the filmmakers that you would have met if you were in the program.
Right.
Yeah, so that's like the special part.
Wait, is OCFF like
Mm-hmm.
for students only?
Yes, it is only for high school students who are in Irvine.
Oh, cool.
So
cool.
you can think about the scale of this thing, and like for example, you're talking about Sundance, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this is such a unique and special experience for like high school students, and for
Yeah.
me it was like a memory for a lifetime. Like I would
yeah.
not have chosen anything else over film ed. So it was like very special to me.
That's awesome. And some people you met earlier, you talked about, you met Alex,
Yes.
who you just did production design for
Yes.
on his 310
Yes.
film.
So Alex, he was the festival director before me because he was the past filmmaker of the year. And so I asked him and Cece if they wanted to direct the nomination video.
Right.
So we were just all working together, and it was like all film ed, just like there, yeah.
That's great.
So-
And talk a little bit about that zombie movie you made with Alex.
Oh, right. Okay. So that one was a fun little project.
That was like one of my favorite like 310s I've seen.
Oh, really?
You know,
Really?
it was just so sick. It really made me believe that I was in this dystopian world where there's like zombies and stuff.
Yeah, so I feel like honestly, Alex is just an amazing filmmaker. Like I look up to him. The reason why I joined Film Ed is because he won like 6 awards at the OCFF the year before, and at that time I wasn't even doing film.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you could say he inspired me to do film. And
That's
so
great, yeah.
I joined the program for like a year, and then wow, I just believed myself, and then we got here. So for that film, the most important part was the plants. So he wanted this like overgrown Last of Us vibe, you
Yeah.
know, with like all the kind of like abandoned house vibes and trash and like all this like cans and stuff. So we shot in the basement that everybody shoots in for 310. I've been there like twice now. Hopefully I won't be there a third time, but honestly that's a great place. It's a good place.
Yeah.
It's not that hot this time because I did that for you, and it was so hot when I shot for Jael's film. Holy moly! Oh my god! It's like no, there's like
I
no
couldn't
AC.
control that.
No, I know. I'm not saying either.
No, yeah.
But I'm just saying like we go through trauma together, you know.
Yeah.
Plants. I went into like Chino Hills area, and I literally went on a trail, and I was like, I can't be getting too many fake plants. It's gonna look too like not realistic. So I literally pulled up the ground, like the weeds from the ground, and I put it like I had like 2 giant trash bags full of those, and I brought it on set. And I also did have fake plants and stuff. So that was like honestly the biggest thing for that set. And then we just made like the main character's like sister a little fort, like a little like base kind of
Right,
moment.
yeah.
So it was like a very cute moment. I really liked that film.
Oh, that's
It was
sick.
fun.
I feel like that like level of dedication is why like filmmakers would love to work with you.
Oh, really?
And Jia Yang worked with you, and
Yeah.
so did Justin. And talk a little bit about Melodies of War. in 310.
Melodies of War, guys. Oh my gosh. So I literally cannot escape trash and rubble and grass. Okay? for Jaehyung's film, I went to a construction dump site because I wanted rubble to be scattered on the floor. Because it was like the, like World War II war, and then the house is abandoned, it's falling apart in rural China. So I was like, I gotta get rubble. Even though it wasn't even that shown on camera, I was like, the thought was there, I tried. So I went to the construction dump site, scavenged through the dumpster, and looked at pieces where I could bring. So I got like 5 mosquito bites from that, but it's okay. And then what else? Hermit crab, right?
That's right, yeah.
All right, hermit crab. Okay. Every production designer's favorite place is Facebook Marketplace. So me and my production designer, Adeline, we literally picked up like 100 cardboard boxes from Facebook Marketplace. And we also like try to like get like some packing boxes that we had, right? And then there was also like trash. Yeah. We just literally had to like keep clean trash and bring clean trash that we were like hoarding for like a week onto the set, because it was like this like midlife crisis film, right? Like there's like trash everywhere, cardboard boxes everywhere. So yeah, a lot of cardboard, a lot of trash, a lot of rubble, and a lot of plants. That's what I do.
That's awesome. Hey, you make it really pop.
Thank
You
you.
make
Oh,
it
yeah.
so much more
Oh, yeah.
believable of a space.
Yeah,
and it
that's
looks
why
great.
dedicated. It's all in the details,
It really is.
Yeah.
Like honestly, a lot of the stuff you couldn't see in Melodies of War, like the rubber glass. But
I know.
the fact that it was there just made the actors, act so much more better too.
I think that's a part of production design. It's just that the environment that we're all immersing ourselves like in
Yeah.
when we work, that's important. Because we get into that story zone, and then even though if it's not seen, I'm fine with it. I tried my best.
I'm curious though, when you're working with the director,
Yes.
do you come up with stuff that surprise them in a way? Because obviously they communicate a vision, but usually there are spaces where you would come up with things that even surprise them. So were there instances where directors will come to you and go, hey, that's awesome that I didn't even think of that, but that totally adds to the story?
Yes. So actually for Veins, what did I do?
The zombie movie.
Yes, Veins, the zombie movie. What did I do for that? Okay, yes. So when all Alex gave me was like a storyboard. He gave me the shot that he wanted, and then I drew in physically what I wanted in that space. And he was like, oh my God, that has so much storytelling detail, because there was like this, it was like a shot where the brother was sitting with his little sister, and I drew in like a little sketchbook that he had in his script, and then the lamp that he, like all the like hero props that he mentioned in his script, I placed it into the space and gave him a visual representation of how I wanted the shot to be, and then just had so much storytelling detail. And he said that to me physically, so I was like, I'm proud of myself.
I want to do something
Yeah.
fun. Look at this room, right?
Okay.
This is the podcast studio.
Okay.
Let's say I was a director who is shooting in this room, but I want this room to be a spaceship.
Spaceship.
How would you production design it?
You want this room to be a spaceship, like as a
the living quarters of a spaceship.
okay, NASA, right?
I'm
something
thinking
like-
Star Wars.
Something like Star Wars. Okay.
Yeah.
So first things first, I would put, you know how like the spaceship has like those white tubes things, right?
Yeah.
So this area, we would cover that window, and we would get maybe something like a paper material thing, like a tube, and we'd cover this entire space to make this circle.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cover this entire space to make a circle, and then I would make, if I had a budget.
Infinite budget.
Infinite budget.
Okay, infinite budget. All right. So, and then on this wall, I would make something out of wood, like a board. And I would make that like all the controls and stuff like that. And I would probably put the bed here instead of over there. So this is like where the little sleeping quarters would be. And then there would be like a wall, like the cushioned wall. And then maybe some controls like on the other side. Let me think. On that side, yes. And then we would have the airplane, like the space food. Right in this cubby right here.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay,
That's
what if it's a caveman's house?
a caveman's house?
Yeah.
Well, what is a caveman? Like a
Like someone from like our
nomad.
ancestors,
like a nomad. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So History for Hire has these like rocks. Like they're like these empty on the inside what is it called?
Styrofoam?
No, not styrofoam. There are styrofoam rocks. But it's like this resin, something like that. The resin rock, I would get like a bunch of those, maybe like put them on the side over here, and then I would make something out of like paper mache. So I would get cardboard and I would cover the space. Again, we're gonna make a cave like kind of thing, and then I would cover it with cardboard, paper mache, paint it so that it's not like not heavy and I don't want to do all that. I actually made fake rocks before, so I would do that same process with the paper, like newspaper and stuff, and then we would just put maybe like some burnt wood in the middle, like to mimic the campfire, and then maybe some like personal possession, like ancient relics, like Sumerian like gods, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like to be like their religion, like maybe on the corner over here.
Okay.
And then honestly, maybe like some bones.
Yeah.
Like some fake bones.
Oh, yeah.
We can get those at History for Hire and we just scatter it.
That's sick.
And then maybe some weapons as well.
Okay, so what is your process? Like, what's the first thing you think about when someone's like, here's the room, I want to make it look like whatever. You know, how do you start doing that and planning?
Okay. That's... It just comes to me. Like, I'd be like, you tell me anything. You're like, I want a flower. I have a vision in my head. And I'm like, and I look around and I'm like, okay. It's like, you know, have you seen Queen's Gambit?
Yes. Yeah.
So instead of visualizing the moves on the chessboard, I start envisioning the stuff like moving around in the space.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. It's not like literally, like it's not, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like
an image in your head.
like a mental note of how things would grow and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Would you say that's something that you had since the beginning, or does it come with practice and just doing more production design?
Okay, well, for art, that's also my process for like a painting. I'm like, oh, I see this blank canvas and I'm like, I want this here. And I want to paint like a stroke like that. Like that, I just close my eyes and I'm like visioning what it looks like. So I've had that when I was younger, but for production design, definitely with experience. Like I'm like, I wouldn't have known to use cardboard to do that caveman like thing if I didn't do that project where I had to make a fake rock, or know that there's props that I can rent at History for Hire for this set. You know.
Okay. You know what? Back to that one question I asked you with the design.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually directing a film in 2 days about a 9-year-old kid from the Midwest. We kind of talked a little bit about it, who has cancer. How would you design his room?
Okay. So I know you sent me a wallpaper.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So a Midwestern kid. How old is he? 9?
Yeah.
9. Okay. How would I design his room? Okay, beige.
Okay.
Something, I feel like it's more like a brown. The color scheme I'm getting is like that kind of like mustardy or yellow, but like more like a muted tone of yellow. Mustardy yellow, cream, and brown.
Okay.
So we're bringing in the Western color scheme in there.
Yeah.
So we would have some. Is he like a cowboy?
He's not a cowboy. He's sick.
Oh, he's sick.
He's bedridden.
Okay, bedridden? Then never mind.
He likes animals though.
No warm colors. So for all those colors I just mentioned, it has to be cool.
Okay.
So
Why?
because he's sick.
Okay.
That's like the visual storytelling element of it, because you know when it's
cold.
it's you can't have blue because that's just too basic. But anything that's like cool toned in whatever color.
Okay.
And then obviously very empty. The room wouldn't have too much decor except for animals, right? So maybe that wallpaper, if he's sick, then how sick is he? Would he have like a life support?
He's not that sick. He's not that
Okay.
sick. This is like early stages of it.
Early stages of it. Okay. So obviously a lot of personal possessions, right?
Yeah.
So
He's been living in that same room for the last like 9 years.
okay, so not really toys, but what do Midwestern kids like to play with?
Like any other kid, you know, they're not too different.
Okay, then we just have some maybe like Legos.
Legos, yeah.
Legos. Maybe like a spaceship, like he wants to go somewhere far.
Yeah.
He wants to get out of this place. He wants to go to the ocean. Maybe animals and nature. Animals and nature. So if he likes animals, he likes nature. So I like that wallpaper idea that you chose. So I would say probably some plants, because that helps with respiration. Maybe his mom would put that in there.
Yes.
Because to help with that stuff. And then maybe like a plate, like a very small corner of the room where his mom put medicine and stuff to take care of him. But it's very neat on like one side of the room.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. And then bed, honestly, just like a single bed, like a very, like even smaller than this type of thing. And then just whatever, like little boy bed sheets in that color scheme that I mentioned.
Yeah.
But I think we gotta add a little bit of green in there. When you think of Midwestern, like how does the audience know that he's from the Midwest, right? So you gotta use the color scheme that audience think immediately that's Midwest.
Cowboy poster.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, you got 2 days to make all of that happen.
I'll surprise you. And stay tuned for that movie.
Yes, guys.
The Little Bird. Okay.
Okay.
Talk a little bit about Cece's movie, Margo.
Margo. Oh my god. Oh my god. I feel like I always have so much lore when I talk about that.
Yeah.
First things first. That was like the first ever shoot that I did overnight shoots on. So
Yeah.
I was actually insanely exhausted. Like I never like I don't know, that was not my sleep schedule, but
Yeah.
that one was like a very heartwarming movie. I like and the production design was generally simple. So we wanted to create this like kind of like low income Asian like Chinese family with like a where there's only a mother and daughter living there. So obviously I was able to bring in a lot of stuff from my household and my friend's household, just like little bowls with like florals on it, and then the table mat that's like floral, like just very like stereotypical stuff that you would find in a Chinese household. And I was able to get a lot of inspiration from my grandma's house.
Yeah.
So I just had to find a lot of that stuff, and obviously like the Chinese calendar hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
And then there there was like a bok choy. So I literally like made food for this set as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh yes. Oh my god. I forgot about the chicken Alfredo. Oh my god. So so there was a hero prop where Margo is in the back of her work. For that, she spills the chicken Alfredo onto him. So I had to make it on site. So I boiled the pasta, brought it on set, got like those frozen chicken Alfredo stuff so I could get like the vegetables, and then I got the chicken Alfredo sauce. So between every single take, I would take my tong, put some pasta in there, and then put like the vegetables in it, so I placed it so that they could spill it the next time. I think I did that like 12 times or something like that.
Oh.
So I ran out of chicken Alfredo pasta at the end, but
12 takes of that.
I don't I don't know how many takes it was, but it was a lot. I just know I did that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. That's so cool. I'm excited to see that when it comes
Yes,
out.
and then while we were there, we were like in Santa Ana. There's always silly stuff happening to me on set. So this like homeless man came up to me and he literally brought me this whole tray of sushi.
Really?
And he was like, "You can eat that." We were like not sure about eating it, but I genuinely enjoy these little things that happen on set. Like there's a cat on that set. Oh my god, the house that we shot at had like 2 little cats, and then there was like the stray cat outside, and it was just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm being chosen by like the cat.
No, that's sick though.
Just I love animals on set. I mean, just maybe not dogs, but cats. Sorry. Yeah.
No, you would have loved to be on Teen Hood. I wish you were on there because it was
Yeah.
on a farm and had
Oh
like
my gosh.
every animal possible.
That is so
It's
cool.
like a fucking goat just like walking
Yeah.
around. But besides doing production design for film, you also do production design for other mediums like theater.
Oh yes.
Talk a little bit about the theater show you were doing PD for.
Okay, so I did that in July of last year, and it's called, literal translation is The Wild, but in Chinese it's called Yuan Ye. And it's a very traditional Chinese play that's like very famous in China, but they were trying to bring it. It was for the Time Theater Collective Company, and they were able to bring that show here. I made this rock that was like really tall, and the actor had to climb on it. I was the assistant stage designer, so there was actually like a stage designer there, and I was just helping him. And so he was like building like the wood structure, but I was the one that like glued all the cardboard on it and then did all the painting. And we made like 2 of those rocks, because like one of them the actor had to sit on it, and then the other one was like there was a stair in the back, and then had to like hide the stairs obviously, and the actor would climb on it and stuff. So yeah, and then there was like these like really traditional Chinese furniture that I had to paint and stuff, so it was pretty fun.
That's sick.
Yeah.
What would you say is like the biggest difference between like theater production design and film?
Okay, so theater, it doesn't have to look real in that space. You know what I mean? It's like more just like props. Like the actor is gonna sit here. There's a table and a chair. They're like just talking. The performance is what matters. But for film, it's more like the look of it. Every corner and detail needs to look perfect on film to make it look believable. I feel like theater, it's not gonna be believable. You know what I mean? Because you're like literally in a theater watching like people act on a stage. So
Right.
that's the only difference. I
That's
think.
so interesting. Would you ever do like a film that's more theatrical, as in the film itself is, for example, Hermit Crab? I think there are theatrical elements to it where it's a little fantastical. It's all about, you know, this person who's going a little bit off the rails. So talk a little bit about how you distinguish like producing realism, say like in Margo,
Yes.
versus Hermit Crab, which is a little bit more exaggerated and a little bit more theatrical, if you will?
So I personally prefer theatrical over realism because I'm more like a person that likes to think outside the box. My next collection for my fine arts is actually all about extraterrestrial beings and plants and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So I just made, I don't know if you guys saw my flower that I made. That's like supposed to be like an alien lily flower. Because I don't want to live on this planet. I want to make stuff that doesn't belong here. I want to go to Jjutopia. The difference is, obviously, realism is like, you have to make it look believable. But theatrical is like, oh, that's cool. It's more jarring. It's more like, oh, this is something new that I haven't seen before. It might not be real, but there's like a deeper meaning beyond what you see onto the screen, which is why I prefer that so much more.
You just brought up Jjutopia.
Yes.
Talk about what that is.
Okay, so guys, Jjutopia is my planet. That's the world that I live in. I feel like I live in my own world. All artists live in their own world, seeing like the stories that they want to like. They're living like a movie character in their own movie, right? So I feel like I'm starring in my own movie, and Jjutopia is this concept of a place, like a planet in outer space, where every being is like distorted almost. There's like a deeper connotation that I'm trying to bring into like the whole society thing, like where plants eat humans, or like, you know, just kind of a different perspective on predator and prey and how we like see the world generally, because I feel like I struggle a lot with self-image sometimes, well, in the past, but I'm trying to embrace my individuality, and I just do not care anymore about what other people think about me, you know? I want to just embrace my internal, like, everything. Like, I want to dress this way, I want to do my makeup this way, I want to make art that looks like this, even though someone else might not appreciate it. So that's the concept of Jjutopia, where this planet is everything you would want for expression. You can be anything that you want, and nobody would ever judge.
So it's more like something that you came up with in your mind. Or is this something you would want to bring into like an art form, where it's
I do.
like
I want to make I want to make an exhibition. I'm working on maybe doing a solo exhibition in the coming years, just to bring this concept to life, where I would make alien plants. And also, actually, I have one coming up. I'm doing like this like earth and ocean connection, but in outer space. And it's going to be like a 6-foot tall tree installation.
Oh.
And I'm going to do an editorial shoot with that one.
That's
Yeah.
That's so sick.
I'm also making 2 dresses. It's like wearable art. So it's not like actual fashion, but I'm trying to like just kind of tap into like all my little hobbies and stuff, and bring all my art forms together. Yeah.
That's so sick. And you've done art installations in the past, right?
Yes.
Talk a little bit about what those are and like what, inspired those projects.
Okay, so art installation is like, some of them is more interactive. Like if you go to a show, you can see like maybe like something where you can tie something or you write something on it. It's like more like a collaboration. That's also like an installation. But for me, it's more like sculpture installation. So it's like 3D. It's very big. It's huge. I love big things. The first one I did was a receipt installation.
No.
The first one I did was a receipt installation that was 5 foot by 7 foot.
Oh,
So 5 foot tall and 7 foot wide. And there was like probably like 100 to 1,000 receipts on there. The meaning behind that is I collected receipts from my family for like 20 years. So my mom's a hoarder. She collected like 20 years worth of receipts, parking tickets, food, groceries, CVS, and then I also collected some from my friends, where I feel like a receipt is like kind of like a piece of history of our like existence. You know what I mean? Every time that you handle these things, it's like a kind of like a glimpse into human nature. So I decided to put that into a piece of art where it was like a collaboration between all these stems of my life. For example, when I was living in China, when I was living in New York and California, and from friends. So it's like that piece of art is like every extension of my life in 20 years.
That's sick.
Because it's like, I feel like receipts also tell a story.
Yeah.
For example, like maybe you're just moving to college and you go to IKEA and you buy all these things. You buy plants to decorate. That's documented on that piece of receipt. But since we're entering such a digital age, none of that is going to be here anymore. We're not going to have those physical pieces of paper that have that meaning anymore. So I feel like that was like, it's more like a piece of history. It could be potentially a piece of history that gets preserved.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Do you keep receipts?
No, I do not.
You just crumble it away.
Well, you see, after that, I was a little bit annoyed. I was like, no, I don't want receipt, please. I have like a whole bag. I carried this giant bag of receipts everywhere I worked on this project. So I'm kind of sick of it for now. Yeah.
I'm curious though, like, where do you find your inspiration from? Because that's such a cool idea. And is it just from daily life? Is it from other artists? Is it from, you know, novels, whatever?
Right.
Different corners of life. Where do you find your inspiration?
So for that piece, it was actually completely original. One day, I had my bag. I was so sick and tired of the receipts that I had in my bag. Because I'm the type of person that I'm just like, okay, cool, I'm gonna shove it in here. And so I'm like, wait, this is kind of aesthetic. Like, I'm like the type of person that notices these little things in life where I'm like, wait, this actually looks really cool. So then I was like, you know what, would it be really cool if I like got a bunch of these and I put it onto a painting or like a piece of wood and I just like make it into art. And that was like when the spark came. I was like, Mom, give me your receipts. And then I texted all my friends, hey, do you have receipts? Can I like use them? And they're like, well, just block out my credit card, like last 4 digits. I'm like, okay. And then I just took it from them and then rest is history.
That's so cool.
That's a lot of receipts to black out though. Dang.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's super cool. I don't know what to do with my receipts. I try to organize them. I tried these apps. I don't know.
I used to like just take photos and just keep them that way and have like an album of just receipts as a way to keep them, especially like on productions.
Oh, right.
Just to, you know, keep track of the budget.
Yeah.
And
For
everything.
production, I take a picture, but then I just throw it away. I'm like, bro, I don't want to keep this piece of paper.
No, I throw it away too.
Yeah.
Unless I'm like, I need to return this one day.
Yeah.
Speaking of like different mediums, I know your parents are also artists,
Yes.
so talk a little bit about that, how that influences your upbringing and your creative process in general.
So my dad, he is a sculptor. He specializes in giant sculptures. So my dad made this like really big Leica camera. So
Oh my God,
it's a
that's sick.
Leica, but it's not like a real Leica. So he calls it his fake Leica. So if you watch the documentary, you would kind of know about that.
That's right.
It's sitting in like a multi-million mansion in Hollywood
my God.
right now.
Oh, no way.
Or maybe they bought it. I don't know. But before they brought it to that mansion, it was in the Leica store. It was in like the front center of the Leica store in like Rodeo.
Gotcha. Was it like a Leica like partnership, or did you just make it and then Leica caught onto it? And
Oh
was
no,
like,
he
whoa.
made it, and then it I think so he had a collection called Real Fake, and this is to talk about like the fake designer stuff in China. Like, you know,
Interesting.
how like it's like Abibus or like
Right, because or
Channel, you know, like all these brands and like they
Yeah.
printed on that. So he made like an entire collection called Real Fake. So Leica was a part of that, and it was like he combined all the different parts of different generations of Leica camera onto that one. So that's why I think it got like some publicity, and then Leica was like, oh my God, like this is fire. Let me get this in our store. And it's so funny because it was so big to the point that they had to remove the front glass of that building just to put it in. So his main medium is stainless steel sculptures,
I
like
see, okay.
massive stainless steel sculptures. And I think that's where my love for silver came from. I don't know if you guys
I
can
see.
tell.
Yeah, totally.
I'm a little bit obsessed with the color, like the silver. So a lot of my stuff, like my personal branding, I guess, is like silver. And I would never choose gold because my entire life I was literally surrounded by silver, stainless steel sculptures. And I just thought that was like the best looking aesthetic because I'm like, dude, that looks so cool. So I looked up to him a lot.
That's great. I feel like a lot of kids growing up, they would kind of rebel against what their parents did or their style. And it's really cool seeing that you're following their path in a way and also catching on to the stuff they would make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, now it's funny how you bring that up because film was actually my rebellion.
Okay.
So they wanted me to do fine art, but I didn't want to. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply to USC Cinema School of Arts instead of fine arts. I didn't get in. I watched his video, guys. It didn't work.
What happened?
No, I watched his video on how to get into USC, and that was like my first impression of him. And then I saw him on set. I was like, wait a minute. This person looked real familiar.
Wait, was it on the Hermit
Hermit
Crab set?
Crab.
No way.
Yeah, that's what
I
I
think I
told-
witnessed that moment.
Yes.
You guys were decorating the desk.
Yes.
And then Dan was just there, and then you were like,
all
"Are you there?"
jokes. All jokes.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to film school anymore because I realized that my real passion is in art, and my parents were right. So I probably shouldn't have. I just applied for Roski, guys.
No, they're doing cool stuff over there.
Yeah.
Except they don't let me film there for some reason.
Oh.
I was like trying to find an art gallery location for my 310 that I was DPing. And then like Roski's like, no, you can't come here.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I went to the lengths. My lengths to getting into USC transfer. I literally I emailed the dean of Roski.
Oh my god.
And I asked her to meet. And
Did you?
I did. And she
Okay, that's great.
And she reviewed my portfolio.
That's good. That's
what?
great.
Yeah. What?
People could just do that?
Well, I was just like, you know what? I'm like the type of person is like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm
Yeah.
going to take my chance. If I don't, someone else is going to take it. So I'm going to take it first.
Wow.
You know what? That's so funny because my mom told me that exact sentence yesterday. Because I'm the type of person who would like be more reserved and be like, you know what?
No.
I think I'll, but you really do have to be,
Never.
aggressive sometimes.
Never.
Yeah.
Bro, like all the chances in the world will not be yours if you don't
fight
that.
for it,
If
right.
you don't fight for it, someone else is going to take it.
Yeah.
So
I
That's such a
love
good
what you
philosophy.
said there because, a lot of people say like, 50% of success is luck. But what people don't say is that luck is what you make of it.
Exactly.
Right? If you're optimistic, there's like studies that show more optimistic people would find like money on the ground.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're pessimistic, you just won't find the money on the ground.
Yeah.
And that just shows like luck is something you can control. And I love how what you said demonstrated that initiative. And that's really cool.
yeah, I was not expecting a response, but I was like, if I don't do it, I would never know.
Nothing to lose, too.
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Right.
Worst thing she can say is no.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
She did it, so
Was that helpful?
That's great.
it was.
Great.
So I went to like a portfolio forum after like she told me to go to the portfolio forum. It was only for high school students, but I went there because I was like, I want to go talk to these professors.
Yeah.
I want to get their input, and it was very successful.
Great.
Yes. So
Well, if somehow you don't get in, I would feel bad for anyone else trying to apply because your stuff is sick.
thank you. That would be crazy. Honestly,
Yeah.
at that point, I'm gonna just drop out.
So talk a little bit about, because you make a lot of art and you post them on social media. You get them on Instagram Reels of behind the scenes, and you have your video series and you make skits and a lot of stuff on TikTok as well.
Right.
I would like to hear like what made you like decide that was the future of your art and like you want to be posting like that.
So funny you say that because I used to want to be a YouTuber when I was in 7th grade.
Oh my god.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, so I bought a little Canon G7X, the little vlogging camera. I have it
Yeah.
in my bag to this day to take pictures and vlog. It's been years.
That was the iconic vlog
It
camera
is.
back in the day.
It was. Now it's like $1,000 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's where I wanted to always be like not an influencer, but I just wanted to put myself out on the internet because I feel like that was fun. So I feel like social media, like content creation, is like a hobby for me. Like I enjoy it. I enjoy posting about my life. I enjoy kind of like debriefing the things that I have done because I think I don't give myself enough credit for the things that I do. Even though you say I'm like you think I'm optimistic, right? But I'm actually pretty pessimistic because I'm like, oh, I don't really think that was that much. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. But I don't realize that it's actually something that's kind of crazy. But I just do things and I don't process them. So doing social media kind of gives me a chance to look back on the things that I have done and appreciate myself and be proud of myself. Yeah. Because I feel like my dad, because he's a successful artist, it's like overshadowing. He's very pressuring. So he always made me think that I was never enough. So I always thought that I was never enough. So doing this is a way to tell me that you're doing good. Keep going.
Yeah.
It's like a reaffirmation, reassurance for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
That's such a deep way of looking at it. Most people are just like, I want money, and that's why I want to be a YouTuber. But
Well, I mean, it's very nice receiving PR sometimes. I'm like, thanks for the free skincare.
yeah,
Yeah. And
that's sick.
I just think it's a good way to like put yourself out there in general. Like, again, most people don't post because they're like, oh, what is someone else going to say about my video? They're going to think it's cringe, right? I do not give a fuck. I do not give a singular fuck what anybody says. They probably will. Like, people will hate me, but they can. I don't care. Like, because ultimately your life is yours to live, and other people will just be the ones sitting behind the phone screen, not doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's
also something that like I think artists just have to accept and just
Yeah.
move forward. Like you're creating art that people are
yes.
people are gonna judge your art no matter what, no matter how supposedly great it is. There's always critics, and the idea is to just keep creating without really regarding too much about
Yeah.
all the negative stuff out
Yeah.
there. So
So that's what my recent Jjutopia series is, when I've been like making art, like just random pieces, embracing different personalities. I do not find all of the pieces that I make good, but I'm like, okay, someone will hate this, someone will like it. Someone will think it's cool, someone will not, but I don't care. Like, I'm just going to put it out. And I'm trying to overcome perfectionism through this process right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, I like what you just said about like the subjectivity of art, right? So, is there some metric to measure how good an art can be? Or do you think like someone who's been painting for like 50 years could essentially be on the same level, be judged on the same level as someone who just started painting? You know, like, is there a certain metric to show like your growth to even yourself, you know, to know that you're improving in your work?
Yes. So an artist once said that it took them 10 years or 20 years to learn how to paint, but it took them over 50 years to learn how to draw like a child.
Oh,
that's such a good quote.
that's deep. Can it really be someone from like Da Vinci's era? Because I don't think they lived that long.
I don't know who it was.
I think
Okay.
Picasso says something similar.
I think it might be Picasso.
Is it Picasso? He was like, the point of being an artist is to find your like inner kid, is to stay a child
Yes.
even though you grew up.
Yes.
Because like that's the most creative part, where you aren't thinking about all the, you know, external forces
Yes.
that's so driving you into this one particular person, but a child just simply does things and
Yeah.
explores, and the key is to like bring that energy
Exactly.
as an artist who's an adult who can. It's almost like controlled chaos in a way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
Such a
that
good
I love
mindset.
how you mentioned the word chaos. Because the opening line for my essay was I love chaos or like something like that regarding chaos, because I just love it. So for your question, I think that practice does make perfect. Like I've been painting since I was like 2. My grandpa put me on his table and gave me a Chinese calligraphy brush and just told me to go crazy. And I just started doing abstract stuff since I was like 9 months old. But you also do have to learn the fundamentals of how like proportions work, obviously, because then if you're trying, you need to learn how to draw well or paint well before you can go outside the box. Like, I need to know where the nose is and how big it's supposed to be, and like the proportions of the body before I can distort it,
Yeah.
before I can ruin it and give a new meaning to it. So, and there's no such thing as good or bad. It's pretty or ugly to me. So everybody, it's like beauty is very subjective. Again, like everybody perceives it differently. So obviously one person is going to think this thing is ugly and the other person is think it's pretty or like it's good. So again, it's very like subjective. There's no such thing as like this is bad but this is good. Personally, the ones that are overly like contoured and like you like try to make every detail and you're like trying to like paint or like draw like a picture,
Right.
those are like not, they're art, but like if you're talking about fine art, it's something that's a little bit more broad than that. Unless it's like Renaissance style, like that's cool.
I do want to know, like, when you're making these art, right? You're definitely trying to go for pretty, right?
Yeah.
Or is that like, so then would you say good equates pretty and the bad equates ugly in a way?
Not exactly.
Okay, what
Not
would you say the
exactly.
difference is?
Because certain artists, they like to make art ugly on purpose.
Oh,
But then some people, there's an artistry to it. But it's about like the color, the composition, and the way the brush strokes. So you could like to paint like a child, right? You have to like be very like, you have to like just kind of be loose. You have to be relaxed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So like when you're like making like a sketch that's like super detailed and stuff, like it can be good if you make the composition good. But if it's just like, if you're just drawing like a person, that's kind of boring. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I think. Of course, everybody has different styles and stuff, but I just personally think that's something that's more outside the box. It's more aesthetically pleasing to me.
Yeah.
So that's just my...
So then how would some artists be successful and other artists not be successful, you think?
Well,
Like, for example, what do you think makes your dad a successful artist, whereas, you know, some other people might not be?
the message behind it is number one. And second, he's done something that nobody has done before.
Okay.
That's the one. That's the one thing that makes the difference between a successful artist and a non-successful artist.
Okay.
Is that you have to innovate something completely new, something that nobody has ever seen before, and you have to be the first one to do it.
Yeah.
and that's what makes you successful. So that's what I'm trying to find right now. I don't know.
Does that relate to being personal? Because in a way, like filmmaking, a lot of people say that the most personal is the most creative. So would you say that's also a way to think about it, where the more you are exploring yourself and who you are, the better, not better, but the more it'll resonate and really have an impact on people.
I 100% agree. I have a chaotic life. My art is also chaotic. So I choose to live life this way to gain inspiration and to through my lived experiences, so that I can make art, so that I could eventually stumble upon this something that will make me be the first one to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think your goal of making art is? Like, is there an ultimate goal for you?
Yeah. Okay. I have many dreams.
Yeah.
Many big dreams. So number one, I want to be a production designer, art director. I want to work on a K-pop music video. Those are fire. Oh my gosh, the artistry is insane. Like, it's like just so beautiful. Like the composition, the colors. I'm like, please, please, please. And then other than that, I want to be like an art director. Maybe at a company for a little bit for just to survive.
What does
to
an
make
art director do?
Oh, art director, for example, like Vogue.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like a campaign. Kind of just like production design. You direct like the vision of like how this campaign is going to be. Like, for example, what is that campaign? Alex Kansani, the model, she did this like, I don't know how to say the name of the brand. Before a brand, there was like this, the campaign, right? And then there was like cucumbers all over. Like, it's something like innovative, and then people find that like interesting. And
That's
so
sick.
it's to like, I guess it's kind of like social media marketing, but like in a broader sense.
Yeah.
But in the art department
Right.
of that. Yeah.
Right. So like photo shoots.
Yeah. Editorial stuff.
Editorial, right? Because I do see like on the Instagram posts, like it would say art directed by.
Yeah.
And then blah, blah, blah. So that's more, does it go into like even the clothing they're wearing, or is that something that's different department?
Okay.
Does it have to be like coherent in some way?
Well, I feel like styling is the clothing. That's styling
Right,
is the
right, styling
yeah.
someone
And then so I feel like creative direction and art director is kind of similar, but creative direction is like the complete package of the
Gotcha.
creative. But art is like just art, I guess.
Okay.
Like the way it looks, the visuals of it. So production designer, art director, and I want to eventually have my own solo show, maybe like exhibit somewhere in the world, and then make some really cool stuff.
Yeah. What do you think the message, the common theme behind all your works is that you want your audience to take away?
That there is something beyond what you see.
Okay.
That there is something beyond this world, because I think the world is a simulation. And
cool.
also, I mean, there's different meanings to something beyond what you see, right? That goes into a single person. There's landscapes inside every person once you get to know them. There's a whole universe outside our world.
Yeah.
Like, I just want people to start thinking outside the box
Yeah.
and just go crazy. Like, and live life
Yeah.
however you want and not care.
No, that's really cool because I recently made a movie where I interviewed a lot of people on what they think happens after death. And when I interviewed Ethan, he said, well, there's no proof that we're actually even alive. We could be in a simulation, which I want to ask you, what do you think as someone who thinks outside the box? Like, what do you think happens after death?
What happens after death? In a way, I feel like our soul still lives.
Yeah.
Like we might not be conscious anymore, but I feel like that the soul, like this, whatever, the memories and everything is like floating into space or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you think about all these like crazy, like supernatural stuff of like that's happening. I believe in all that stuff. Like, I believe that there's definitely like spirits around this world or something somewhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably us when we die in the future. I don't know.
I feel like to be creative and artist, you can't just be so rigid and believe science is everything behind everything, you know? You gotta know, like, I feel like as a creative, as an artist, you gotta think outside the box, like you said, like, that there is more possibilities, staying curious and open-minded.
Yes.
You know, like, being even, like, spiritual in a way, right? You don't have to be conforming to a certain religion, but I think it's important to know that, you know, things aren't as what they seem like, and I love that's the message of your work.
Yes.
It's like about empathy, I think, ultimately, right? I think a lot of division and fear and all that all comes from a place of like not understanding the other person and fighting for the sake of disrespecting the other person or whatever, and you know, you definitely see that in the world of politics and the world of other parts of the world. But yeah, I think part of the role of the artist and the role of filmmaker is to just create this like mirror that we can almost see like someone else from.
Yes.
Like you look into it and then you see yourself, but then there's this other entity, this other world that exists within it. And I think that's the beautiful thing about making art, and it can really transform lives.
Yes.
It can really change in
Yes.
in ever so subtle ways and also in unsubtle ways. As
Yeah.
well.
So that's what I'm trying to in the future. Big plans. Big plans.
Oh yeah.
That's
Gotta dream
exciting.
big.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And how did you feel like, because you're talking about the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you see your work evolving since you were, 9 months old to now? Like, because at every stage, the art we create reflects who we are at the time, right?
Yes.
And the stuff you're talking about now is who you believe and what you believe at this moment. So how did your art shift and change
Okay,
as you
so
aged?
in the beginning, obviously, I was like literally just taking a calligraphy paintbrush and like just whipping it everywhere. Carefree, did not give a single, about what I was doing. But then my parents put me in these like very rigid, they like started teaching me still life. My least favorite classes ever. Like it's like drawing a freaking bottle. I'm like, bro, it's in gray. I'm literally like, oh my God, I need color. But they're like, no, you have to do this. And then I appreciate that because now I know how to draw things. Like I can just draw that within like a few seconds. But I hated that practice. But it had to be done. Junior year of high school, I was in a phase where I wanted to express too much in a single painting. Like I wanted the audience to know what I was trying to express, but that doesn't always work. So I was like, I don't know, it just wasn't as good as my art now because I'm more free with it. I'm more like, oh, I don't really care what this looks like. I'm just gonna be like myself and just be relaxed. And then the art is an extension of me versus me trying to reflect myself onto a piece of art. That's the difference. It's like junior year was before I realized that I needed to be free, to not care too much about like the perfect brush stroke or like the perfect color to put in a single spot.
Yeah.
I'm more just like, I don't care. I'm gonna
Right.
do whatever. And then this is how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
Sadness, anger, revenge, regret, whatever. That's what I'm trying to reflect into my art pieces now. So
Yeah. No, that's really sick. Like I can totally, I'm like so excited to see the stuff you do
Yeah, me
after
too.
that.
Me too. I hope. Oh my God, I'm excited too.
But outside of art, you'd be doing these side quests like going on Jubilee and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
modeling. How did you? I was just watching in this episode because for the guys who don't know what Jubilee is, it's like this YouTube channel that does these really cool social commentary stuff, and they do a lot of fun things revolving topics with humans and stuff. And 2 videos I watched, you were in it just randomly. And it freaked me out because I was
Me
like,
too.
"There's no way
Help.
That's why I was
someone
like,
I
whoa,
know is on
crazy.
here." So how did you get on a Jubilee episode, and like what was that experience like?
Okay, well, first of all, you guys can apply for Jubilee too. Like, they have open casting on their website. So, what happened was, one of my friends who is a model,
Yeah.
I saw him on an episode. I was like, oh my God, what are you doing on Jubilee? He was like, oh yeah, you can apply. So I was like, oh, why not? I told my ex about it, and then we were like, we're very madly in love at that time. So we were like, let's go on the show together, and let's hope that it aged well. Well, we're not together anymore, but we applied for this video because a lot of people said that we look like siblings, like we look alike
I
and
remember that
stuff.
video,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we applied for this video that was like siblings are dating, but we didn't get casted into that one because it was supposed to be mostly siblings acting like they're dating. So we're not siblings, obviously, so we didn't get casted. But regardless, they had our like interview video and they had our like contact and everything. So for the next video was ranking couples by compatibility. And so they literally just like cold called us. And they sent me and my ex like a text individually, and we were like, oh my God, wait, we just got casted in this video? Okay, let's do it. Like, and then we went on that one. It was fun. And then I met with the director. She was super chill. And I think her name is Nicole. Yes, I don't remember. Yes, she's super nice. And there's a lot of USC students working on set
I
of
know a
Jubilee.
couple, yeah.
Yeah. So like I was talking to her about like, oh, maybe if you need production design, hit me up. So, but the next time she the crew hit us up for like the sibling or dating video. So that was the second one. We were just like, okay, why not? Let's do it. We've been wanting to do this for a while, right? Siblings are dating. So we ended up being on that video. It was super fun, very chill. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw my name in there.
Yeah,
Did
do
you
it.
ever
Why
make a
not?
video on like
No, totally.
film
I'm
school
telling
versus
you,
no
bro.
film school?
Like, I'm saying, you lose the chances you don't take.
Yeah,
You know?
you're right. You're right.
What's that saying? You miss 100% of the shots you don't
Yes.
take. Is that the right one? Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Oh, and side quests. Yeah, I have a lot of side quests. Modeling, it was just because my
Yeah.
friend, she was just like, they needed a model for this jewelry brand, and I thought it was a cool jewelry brand. And I just so happened to know the male model, so I was like, oh my god, what? This is crazy. And that was the first time I saw him in real life, but it was cool. That was fun. And then after that, my friends just hit me up whenever they need like a model or something. I'm actually going on a shoot on the 8th.
Oh yeah.
For my friend's brand. It's called A Mode. It's a denim brand. She's super talented.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
very
sick. Back to art, actually. I was gonna ask you earlier. You've been doing art since you were born. There's phases in our lives where we kind of question what we do and what we are and like
Yes.
stuff like that, especially as we grow up, like, you know, out of high school and stuff. Has there been any points in your life when you're questioning like whether art is your future? And like what was that thing? Like what was going on in your head when you had those moments?
It was the rebellion. I didn't want to do what my parents did.
Okay.
I was like, because like I have a, growing up I had a difficult relationship with my dad because he's very like dominant of a person.
Yeah.
And gave me a lot of trauma because of how demanding he is. Like he always thinks that I'm not doing enough. So I was like, dude, I do not want to be in this field because he's just gonna keep telling me what to do. So I was like, you know what, let me try something else. I joined a film class.
Yeah.
And then again, rest is history. So I really wanted to do film, like directing for a bit. But then I realized that it wasn't really for me. After I literally worked on a few films during high school. But then I discovered the love for production design when I joined PNN, which is the school broadcast program. And I wanted to give our show like a new anchor desk set. So I started that and I was like, wait, this is so fun.
Yeah.
I really liked it. So I was like, you know, let me just keep doing it. So I guess that was when film started was when I realized I didn't really want to do art anymore. But
film
then
is art. in
yeah,
a
no,
way,
yeah.
Too, yeah.
I just think it's so etched into me.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing it for my entire life. There's nothing I know better. So
Cool.
I think that's just where I need to be.
But you never were like, I want to do accounting or like math.
Oh no, I suck at
accounting,
math, guys.
man.
Oh
Not
my
accounting.
god. Wait, just the thought of that, like just literally, I just don't think I've ever thought of it like anything else. I don't know.
Wow. No office job, you think?
I think I would die. Because I love being free. Freedom is the number one thing that I value the most.
Okay.
So,
No.
yeah.
That's great.
Daisy, I have two thought experiments for you. One is if you can teleport to anywhere within a second, what would be the first place you would go? Anywhere in the world.
I want to go to Jjutopia.
Okay. What's the first spot in Jjutopia you would want to go to?
Jjutopia is not in this world. It's in a different dimension. I don't
Yeah.
want to be on this planet.
Would you hit up like the spa in Jjutopia or like?
Probably like the waterfall. The waterfall, there's like very colorful plants everywhere, and there's like little eels kind of entities swimming around there. The water is like very crispy blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of James Cameron's Avatar?
Yes.
Would you say that's somewhat of a description, or is it
Something
different?
similar,
Something
but
similar?
a little bit more artistic, more colorful. But definitely something like that.
Gotcha.
Bro, I think Avatar, oh my god, that is,
Are you excited for the third one?
yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. It's the fire people.
Yeah, the fire
so
tribe or
excited,
something.
bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I literally love like the CGI of that film so much. I just think it's so cool.
Yeah. Well, he said-
Pandora.
Yeah,
oh, you know
Pandora.
what? You know, he said in the opening of the film, he said it's not made by AI.
Oh, that's right. I read about it. Yeah.
And I want to hear your thoughts on AI.
Oh. Okay, so I actually do use AI sometimes to generate me ideas for art.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, hey, I want this entity creature. Can you give me like something like that?
Yeah.
So I use Midjourney and Discord sometimes to generate me ideas when I'm stuck. And honestly, it helps so much with creative block.
Okay.
Like I see this image, but then I also have my own ideas, so I just kind of combine it together. But I always just do it myself. But the ideas can come from AI. I actually really want to get into Sora, which is like an engine. I think it's called Sora.
Yeah, the video.
Yes,
engine,
I want to
yeah.
get into the video AI engine
Yeah.
just to create some cool stuff. I'm really open. No, I'm honestly.
Google has one too.
Really?
Google Veil. Apparently, it's better.
Oh, what about DeepSeek?
Does DeepSeek
I don't
have
know.
one?
I don't think.
I'm not sure.
Chi-
I
there's
know
one.
Chinese.
Yeah.
There's some Chinese ones. There's the Google Veil. There's Sora. I think those are the leading ones right now.
Dude, I honestly, okay, I know this might sound a little controversial, but I'm actually a big fan of like AI art because it looks so like new. Like when it's like distorting and like moving and stuff like that, I just think it's so much more like than you can do with CGI, low key.
Yeah, because it
It's-
just it goes wild.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I really like it actually.
I've seen some clips on Instagram Reels that are randomly recommended to me that are like really scary in like a
I
really,
really like
artistic
it.
way. Almost.
I really
yeah.
like it actually.
I mean, what do you have to say to the people who think that will take their jobs in the future?
I don't think it will because you still need an executor. You still need someone to give the AI a command. Like the AI just they don't have taste.
Yeah.
Like they don't have like you still need someone who has an artistic background to feed the AI ideas like, hey, I hate that color. That is not good. Like be like, oh, use purple instead of pink for this area or something like that. You still need someone with like the vision to be
Yeah.
able to.
Yeah, I read this article by Ted Chiang, who's the writer of the movie Arrival. He wrote this short story for it. He had an article that said basically, yes, artists use AI as a tool, but ultimately it's about making choices. I think that's exactly what you touched on, where yes, AI can generate you hundreds, thousands of images, but ultimately it's about what you end up doing with it. And in some ways, yeah, like the people who are in support of AI in art are using it as a tool to help them make the choices that they want to make ultimately.
Yeah. So I don't think it's gonna replace. If anything, it'll just help us. It's like more
Enhance,
like a
yeah.
tool to like help us with creativity.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
yeah.
I love that. I love that you, because I would totally think you'd be someone super against it, but that's great. I mean,
I'm like I said, I'm open to anything. I'm very open-minded.
yeah.
I used to be judgmental, but I'm at a phase where I'm open to seeing all sides of things. Like you say, oh, I'm in a polyamorous relationship. Okay, cool. Good for you.
So it's more about like
Anyways.
You know, I'm just super open-minded. Like
Yeah.
I'm open to learning anything. I just want to absorb all the information. You know?
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why judge? You know? And you know, it's speaking of that, like I found out the other day that one of the people who is like the founder of like this company I'm interning at, he's like one of the best screenwriters in Hollywood. And I heard that he uses ChatGPT a lot of times to assist him with screenwriting. And I was like,
yeah.
if the top
too.
people in Hollywood is using it, and that's like, why are the ones that aren't at the top not using it?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Like you're gonna be like, oh, I don't want to use that because it's not authentic. Someone else is gonna use it. They're gonna be better than you, bro. Like, just use it. Like, don't.
And it's not to like replace your work; it's to make it better and
Mm-hmm.
spark ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard that like AI is not gonna replace anyone. It's people who know how to utilize AI to better the work that they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's true in every field, like in tech, in art, in filmmaking. Like if you can use that as like a assistant, as like a whatever, like that'll enhance you so much better.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
So I'm not against AI at all.
Cool.
My second thought experiment is if you had the attention of everyone in the world for 1 minute, what would be one piece of art you would show or something you would say?
If it was to be a piece of art, I think in the future it would be like this giant sphere. A giant sphere, like almost like a planet, like Jjutopia, right? And then there's like all these different like elements of things growing off of it to kind of give them what an extraterrestrial like being could look like, or like an extraterrestrial world like Pandora or like something like that. If I had to say anything though, honestly, just to be free, to live free and enjoy life because you only live once. Not to be scared of anything that you want to do, and just do whatever the you want, and don't be afraid of judgment because your life is yours to live. Yeah.
And
Very well
we
said.
do a thing on our podcast where the previous guest would leave a question for the current guest.
Oh.
And the previous guest wrote a question, how do you find balance in your life?
You talk about a great question. Balance. I literally just made a reel, like I just posted it before I drove, that what's it called? Work hard, play hard is my middle name.
Okay.
Work hard, play hard is my middle name. I'm a girl. I like to party. I like to go out. So today I'm going to a party. But right now I'm in the podcast. And then afterwards, I'm going to go to the build set. And then after that, I'm going to go to the party. So I work during the day, get my work done, and then I go have fun at night.
And how do you find time to take care of yourself?
Oh. I mean, I'm just happy.
Okay.
I'm happy when I am living free, doing whatever I want. So, and then sometimes I'll take like a rest day for like a day and I'll just like take a shower, watch some movies, and then like journal a little bit. And then art is my therapy. So that's how I take care of myself.
If you were on a deserted island, what would be one piece of item you would bring and one that's not necessarily art? And what is a piece of art that you would bring? It could be anything. It could be a DVD for a film. It could be a little sculpture thing. It could be a whatever. So object and art.
I would bring a camera so I could document my life before I die. And then that would be an art piece in itself.
Oh, that is giving me chills. That's so good.
Yeah.
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 That's
Hey,
beautiful.
we're all doing that every day, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yep. So that would be my
great.
answer.
So that's 2 things in one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Sick.
That's beautiful.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
course.
coming on
Daisy,
our
thanks so much.
podcast.
Of course. I had a
And-
great time talking to you guys.
Likewise.
Yeah.